Mary's first time on an airplane. She saw a wing on fire outside the window. She wanted to tell her family about it, but pieces of the plane broke through the window. A large hole opened up in the cabin. Because of the pressure, a strong air current was created inside the cabin. Many passengers were blown away because they were not wearing seatbelts. Although they held on to their seats as hard as they couldn't withstand the strong air current. The other survivors were terrified by what they saw. They could only sit in place, afraid to make a move. As the gaping hole grew wider and wider, they could only hold on to anything they could. They prayed that they would survive. Soon after, the plane made a forced landing in the Pacific Ocean. But the force of the landing, there were still some casualties. When things calmed down again, Lisa couldn't believe that she was okay. However, just as she was relaxing, she realized that a large amount of seawater was pouring in due to the breakup of the fuselage. A large amount of seawater rushed into the cabin. The plane was sinking rapidly. She felt desperate. She waited for death. But luckily, the plane was stuck on a reef as it sank. And even more fortunately, due to air pressure, there was still a little breathing space at the rear of the cabin. But they couldn't rejoice. They were the only survivors of a plane that was originally carrying hundreds of passengers. The oxygen in the cabin couldn't support them. The oxygen in the cabin could not support all 7 of them to breathe at the same time. At the same time, rescue teams were dispatched from the airport as soon as the plane crashed. They immediately dispatched a helicopter to look for the wreckage of the plane. After locating the plane, a man in a scuba diving suit jumped into the sea. Soon, he found the wreckage of the plane. He slowly got closer to the plane, shocked to find that there were still survivors inside the plane. However, the people inside the cabin were gesturing to him. He didn't know what it meant. He didn't realize that a shark was approaching. Then the shark bit the lifeguard. The survivors were desperate. The hope that had been there was extinguished by the shark.